Hello, welcome to Train Signal. This is the Understanding Management Packs lesson in the System Center Operations Manager 2012 training course. When you look at Operations Manager, it's nothing but a framework. Now, I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again. Out of the box, SCOM doesn't do really much of anything. It's really only once you've begun to extend the capabilities of Operations Manager that you can start getting a sense of the true power of the product. Operations Manager is a fantastic framework, but it's only a framework. Think of it as a building that's going up. They don't put all of the nice things in the building while they're still building the frame, right? They have to get that frame built, and then they start adding offices, they start adding furniture, and they start putting carpet in and things like that. This extension, the offices, the furniture, and the carpet in Operations Manager happens through the use of what are called management packs. When you initially look at Operations Manager out of the box, you have a big green circle like the one you see on your screen. This is the core Operations Manager installation, and it does the very basic things that it needs in order to just simply operate. But then, as an administrator, you can tell it, hey, I want to start monitoring my Active Directory environment. So I'm going to add an Active Directory monitoring management pack. And then you can say, well, at the same time, I've got lots of Windows file servers. I want to make sure that I truly understand the health of those file servers all the time. I want to know when people have hit their quotas. I want to know when we're starting to run low on disk space. I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of what we consider a mission-critical resource. And then you can say, Exchange, that's pretty important to us. And there's all kinds of metrics around making sure that you have a healthy Exchange environment. There's management packs that are available for Operations Manager that can help you make sure that your Exchange environment is running in what Microsoft considers a best practices mode. Now, if it's not, you can tell Operations Manager, okay, I like what you're doing here, but I'm going to make some adjustments. And we're going to talk about those adjustments throughout this course. Or let's say you want to do some network device monitoring. Well, Operations Manager can do that too. It can also monitor your Unix and your Linux machines, at least some flavors of Unix and Linux. And you can also tell it, DNS is a pretty critical resource for Active Directory health, so let's keep an eye on our DNS servers using Operations Manager. And pretty soon, you start building around this core, and you're really adding brains to the Operations Manager environment. Let's look at an old style monitoring system. This might be something that administrators used to do back in the day. They may have had a step-by-step series of lists that they went through on a periodic basis. Maybe every Monday they would log on to each server and verify that the available disk space is sufficient. Make sure it's not running below some predefined or gut threshold. Every morning, use a log viewing tool to aggregate the logs and see if there were any major issues since the previous day that may affect operations. On a regular basis, at least somewhat regularly, as time permits between taking help desk calls and doing all the other work, monitor Exchange-related performance counters to make sure that the service is operating normally. And then just as needed, react to user-discovered issues, such as a database going offline for some reason, which could result with problems with Outlook if it's an Exchange database. And then if there's issues such as disk space issues that crop up, address the issue. But, a lot of times IT departments do wait for users to report issues before they take action on those issues because they don't know the issues taking place. All of this is tedious, time-consuming, and there's no business value added to these kind of old-style manual checklists. I sort of am passionate about making sure that IT departments are able to add value to the business, making sure that the focus is not on the technology, but it's on the business value that results from having an IT department. And that's when we have a new day that can arrive through the use of tools such as Operations Manager. Management packs replace that manual work that you already do. So that rule you have where every Monday you check for the available disk space on the servers, management packs do that for you. You don't have to do that anymore. And what that means is the time you spent doing that task is time the organization gets back for different initiatives. Management packs can include rules and other components which are designed to monitor events, hardware, services, and other items. Generally, each management pack has a laser focus on a particular service, such as DNS, DHCP, or printing. You're going to see quite a few management packs in use throughout this course, and you'll get an understanding for just how granular they can get. But it's also important to deploy only the management packs you need. Just like you wouldn't go through your checklist and add ridiculous items that you don't need to watch on a regular basis, you shouldn't be adding management packs that really don't serve much of a purpose. Remember, the goal of Operations Manager is to streamline your environment, not to make it more complex. There are a lot of components that make up management packs, starting with monitors. Monitors are items that determine the health of a particular component, and they make sure items are working within specifications. If not, the monitor will raise what's called an alert, which tells the administrator that something has gone amiss. Now, you're going to see monitors in use throughout this course, so if you don't understand this quite right now, that's okay, because you're going to see it later on in this course. There are different kinds of monitors that you can use. There are what are called roll-up monitors, and there are what are called aggregate roll-up monitors and dependency roll-up monitors. Then you have what are called unit monitors, which can watch SNMP, Windows Management Instrumentation Performance, log files, Windows event logs, and things like that to determine what might be going amiss based on these unit monitors. Rules. A rule will collect data that's then stored in the data warehouse. Now, when you want to collect historical information about the performance of an object, rules rock. However, objects that are included in a rule cannot also be monitored for health at the same time. A task is a method that performs some action based on rules that are defined. Among other actions, a task can run a program or a script or reset a failed service. You actually already got to see a task in this course. When we deployed the agent using the automatic method, the push method, a task was performed. A view is a visual representation of what might be happening in your environment with a particular component at any point in time. How many of you hate creating documentation? Well, that's what this is about. Knowledge can help you keep track of what's going on in your environment by adding information to a management pack, but more importantly, it can help you begin to understand what may have caused a particular alert. How was it addressed? As operators learn to correct problems, that information can be stored right in the management pack, which makes it quickly available to other operators that might run across the same problem in the future. A report. A report's a report's a report. It's basically a report you can run to get information about a particular item in the organization. And you'll see reports in this course, but for the most part, I think most of you probably understand what reports really are. And then run as profiles. Remember, we've talked about run as profiles in accounts before, and I mentioned that you may add more through the use of a management pack. A run as profile could be a set of Windows credentials, or it could be an SNMP community string, for example. You may use this when you're going to use Operations Manager to monitor your network environment. SNMP is huge in the networking space. Now let's go over a little bit more about management packs. Now, before I continue, I do want to tell you that we're not going to do any actual demos in this particular lesson. It's a short lesson. We'll be doing a lot of demos about management packs and other lessons in this course. You can get management packs from many different sources. Many of these management packs are free, but a lot of them aren't free. Microsoft makes available for most of its products a freely available management pack. However, other organizations, such as Veeam, sell management packs that help you monitor third-party items inside Operations Manager. In fact, in one of the lessons in this course, we're going to use what's called the Veeam NWorks Management Pack, which is a for-pay management pack to include monitoring of vSphere inside the Operations Manager environment. But your first stop is what's called the Microsoft System Center Marketplace. You can also modify management pack default behavior. Now, when people put together these management packs at Microsoft, they're really smart people. They understand how people use their systems, and they've gathered all kinds of user information over the years to gain a series of best practices around how people should be monitoring their environments. However, one size does not fit all, and you can actually modify the default behavior of the management pack to meet your own specific needs. However, for security reasons, most management packs are sealed, which means they can't be modified. Now, you may be sitting there wondering about, well, how the heck am I supposed to modify these things and add my own set of information if I can't even modify, if they're sealed and I can't change them? Well, that's where the use of what are called overrides come in. Because management packs that are generally sealed and have their own predefined definitions, administrators can create what are called overrides, which change the behavior of a management pack or of an element of a management pack. These overrides are then sent to a separate management pack. So basically, you create your own management pack, which is very common in the operations manager world, and you store your overrides in that separate management pack. That way, operations manager will refer to your overrides rather than to the default settings in the management pack, and you're able to safely customize the operations manager management pack to meet your own specific needs. Most of the management packs that were installed when operations manager was installed are sealed, although there are a few that are unsealed. Operations Manager 2012 has some new management pack behavior. First of all, from a best practices standpoint, it's always been recommended that you save overrides to a separate management pack in order to facilitate the ease of managing management packs. However, what's ended up happening is because of the behavior of Operations Manager, administrators have often saved their overrides to what's called the default management pack, which is a management pack that's created at the same time you install Operations Manager, and it's a place to which you can install overrides. However, later on, when you have to upgrade or delete a management pack, having saved all of your overrides to one management pack makes life very difficult, because it makes it very difficult to delete overrides that are associated with separate management packs. Let's say you've created overrides that are associated with 50 different management packs, and you've saved all of those overrides to the default management pack. Well, unfortunately, in earlier versions of Operations Manager, you end up having to figure out a way to separate just those overrides from the default management pack and then try to go ahead and delete the management pack you're trying to delete. That's because the default behavior was to save overrides to the default management pack. Finally, somebody got smart, and Operations Manager 2012 addresses this issue by not using the default management pack as a default override location. In fact, it says, rather than the default management pack, where do you want to save these things? Choose a management pack, make a new one, whatever you want to do. Now, I understand that this may not tell you everything you need to know about management packs. However, this provides a foundational discussion for what management packs do, how they operate, but the real meat's going to come in later lessons when we start importing management packs and managing them in the Operations Manager environment. And by understanding some of the basic framework around management packs, you'll be much better off as we move into that particular part of the course. And that's it. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.